What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Tratter Talk, a podcast centered around the country lifestyle and how to be a positive influence. My name is Nick Luciano.
My name is Blake Moore.
And this podcast is brought to you by Ariat, award-winning and innovative products for all types of outdoor and work environments. Today, we have Caden McGuire with us again. What are you laughing at? That was a good intro.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, we're good.
But anyway, today, we have Caden McGuire with us again, along with superstar TikToker, Jenna Sparks. Introduce yourself to the people.
Hey. I'm Jenna. I just turned 19. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to have to get you loosened up real quick.
Insert video of her
Jumping
on
jacks?
the saddle at
I'm
Texas Roadhouse.
running on Red Bull right now. That's it.
You don't
You
act
can't
like
run
it.
on a Red Bull.
Watch me.
A Red Bull can's that long, you can't run on top of that.
No, there's some that are like that long.
She's like that girl that like catches a fish. It was this big.
It was that big.
Yeah.
Anyways.
10-incher.
Anyway,
Anywho,
we have Jenna Sparks with us. You just turned 19, right?
I did.
How was your birthday?
It was fantastic.
What'd you do for your birthday?
Say it.
These fools took me to Texas Roadhouse and maybe sit on a saddle and do like the little thingy or whatever. Anyways, we went to College Station. Went to an Eli Young concert. That was fun. Got to see my best friend. So it was a good time. Yeah.
Yeah, and you sat on the seat, the saddle. They made you say "yeehaw,"
Yeah.
like really loud.
I didn't do it.
You didn't do
I was
it.
like, yeehaw.
You told him no.
Yeah, I told him I was like, I'm good. She was like laughing at me.
Can we play the video in the podcast of her doing
No,
it?
we don't
Yeah.
have to. It's
We can
okay.
do that.
No, we are.
Okay, cool.
We're
Want
playing
it here.
It's right here.
Insert video now.
I hate it here. Anyways,
So we're super excited to have Jenna on and Caden back for episode 6 of Tratter Talk. And Caden, you recently got to go to the American Rodeo. What did you think about that?
It was amazing. Hands down amazing. We got to really experience some really cool things with being put in the Ariat booth down there with all them. So, I mean, you guys know we had some really cool conversations. Got to meet some people like that dude that sang Cherry Pie. Or he was a guitarist or something, but that was pretty freaking cool.
Yeah.
Like that, she's my cherry pie. That was freaking cool.
Yeah. We met a Texas Rangers baseball player, too.
Where was I?
I don't think you... You remember the really tall guy that Zeke introduced us to?
Oh, he played for...
Yeah.
Yeah, you know who.
He was a giant.
In the orange shirt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was massive.
He was a big man. Jenna, have you ever been into AT&T Stadium?
I have.
What do you
several
think of it?
times. It's huge.
Yeah, that screen up there is crazy. We got to sit basically in the dirt suite. That was really cool. Which,
That was so cool.
If y'all don't know, it's right on the dirt. And the way the American is split up is they have a big stage in the center, and then they have chutes on this side, and then they have another section on this side. So it's like basically cut in half where they have rough stock events on this side, and they have timed events on the other side. So we were sitting on the side that has the timed events, so we could see those really well. They were right in front of us. But when it came to rough stock, we were kind of like breaking our neck a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then we also got to, thanks to Ariat, we also got to enjoy the PBR Global Cup, which was pretty freaking cool. Team USA brought home the win. Dalen Swearingen was the top rider there. I think it was 91 points at the end.
91 and a half. I
I think it was 91 and a half, but that ride was insane.
It was killer.
Both of his rides were 90 plus. So
It was pretty cool, though, at the American, being behind the chutes for the bull riding. And, like, whenever, I forget what his name is. Who's the guy that won? Wasn't Stetson.
it was Kaiki Pacheco.
Yeah,
However you say his name.
He won the 2.1 million.
Yeah. Well, whenever he first rode in the qualifying round or whatever that would have been, he was hopping on. They were hyping him up back there in the chutes, and I had a video of it. But everyone, you could like see the like beads of sweat coming off everyone's face. Like, is he gonna stick it? Is he gonna stick it? That was pretty cool back there to watch. Like all them like. That was.
Jenna, do you enjoy being behind the chutes for rough stock events?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
They're all getting ready when we're running.
Mhm.
So bulls is always right after barrels.
Yeah.
But sometimes
That's
a good time.
Yeah. And speaking of rodeo, you've rodeoed for how long now?
Since I was 3.
Since you were 3. And what's your main event?
Barrels.
Barrels. And for those of you who don't know, a lot of our listeners and viewers don't really follow rodeo. If you had to explain barrel racing, how would you explain it?
It's a timed event. You have to run a cloverleaf pattern. Fastest time wins, basically. But you can go either left or right first, and you basically just turn 3 barrels as fast as you can. So.
All right. Do you go right first, don't you?
Yes. Well, it depends on the horse.
Okay.
But yeah, all of mine go to the right. So.
Okay. That's a little bit of breakdown of rodeo events. Just going back to the American real quick. There was one winner, Kaiki Pacheco, that we mentioned earlier. He won the $2.1 million, which is the most in American history because there was added money this year. But yeah, we had a great time at the American. But leading into that, we're just going to ask Jenna some questions and get to know you a little bit better. So, Jenna, where are you originally from?
I'm from Denton, Texas.
Okay.
So not too far from Fort Worth.
And you just turned 19. We said that earlier, right?
Yes.
Awesome. And you've been riding and competing since you were 3.
Yes.
What's your absolute favorite part about rodeo?
Definitely the community, the family. I definitely wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for the people that I've met along the way. But just with like my parents' friends, family friends that we've met, and people literally just like taking you in on the spot, helping you out. I've gotten amazing opportunities just with people reaching their hands. So it's an amazing community. It's basically family, and it's like a different type of family because, you don't see each other all the time, but you go to rodeos and it's like you're at home. So that's definitely my favorite part is just who you meet along the way and the family and the community that you create while being there.
All right, so what kind of goals do barrel racers have set, I guess, throughout the year of riding and stuff?
So, I mean, it's just kind of different for everybody. Depends on what circuit you want to hit, where you want to, get involved at. I just finished high school rodeo, so now we're branching into, going more pro and figuring out kind of the next step from that. High school rodeo, that's all I've ever done, basically. You can start in junior high, go into middle school, still compete in high school rodeo. Technically, it's all the same organization. So you basically just have rodeos almost all year round. Summer's kind of your only break. But if you make it, you make finals, and then that goes into nationals. So that's kind of all your goals for that is all about making nationals. So now that I graduated, we're kind of in the middle area where we're trying to figure out the next step. But I mean, national finals is always at the end of the year. Americans, always the beginning of the year. So everywhere in between, you can find circuits to join, different organizations put on stuff all year round. So it just kind of depends what your goals are, what you want to do. You can hit futurities. You can just hit little circuits, bigger circuits. So we're just kind of right now trying to figure out basically the next step where we want to go with it. But yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you mentioned futurities in there. I like to, keep this podcast educational.
Right.
A lot of people hear the word futurity, they don't know what it means. So
you're involved in futurities, right?
I was, yeah, for a little bit. But
how was that?
It was fun. It was fun. But for the people that don't know what futurities are, give them a little bit of insight.
Well, you know more than I do about that. I don't know a whole lot about futurities. I haven't personally been in it. I had somebody want me to take one of their colts to a futurity and run them for a while, but things kind of got messy there just with the horse itself. Yeah. So, I want to get into it eventually, but I haven't been a part of any futurities yet. So
yeah, so for anybody who doesn't know, futurities are basically younger horses.
Yes, it's all younger horses.
All younger horses and what they're capable at certain age ranges. All futurities are different, but I just wanted to keep it along the lines of educational when we throw around the word futurity.
Right.
It means the age of a horse. Did you know that, Caden?
Do now.
Yeah.
So all the it's basically it'll be 3-year-olds competing against each other, 4-year-olds competing against each other. So
yeah,
we had a 3-year-old, and she just wasn't quite ready, wasn't mature enough. So we decided to pull her. But yeah, that's something like I want to definitely get into.
Yeah, it's a cool different space. It's not
yeah.
just all different types of horses. It's like one age bracket.
All same age, all
Yeah.
competing against each other. They're fun
Exactly.
to watch.
Yeah, exactly.
It's super cool.
All right, enough of the rodeo talk. Let's get a little serious here with everyone in the group. So, how did you meet this crew?
So I met Nick a few years back. We had a photographer that was local, and she asked my sister and I to come and basically like model for a shoot she was doing, but it was actually a promotional video for her business. So Nick was the videographer, and we were basically like the models for it. So I met Nick then, and we both had TikTok, but we both had just like, I think a few hundred followers, like nothing major. So he posted the videos from that shoot and tagged me. So I followed him, and we kind of followed each other ever since and just like kept up with each other. But that's what I want to be as a videographer. So I was like always watching Nick's stuff, just like that's what I want to do. And so, you know, year or two later, he reached out to me saying that, you know, he always lived close. He lives like probably 15 minutes from me maybe. But he said that, you know, y'all were going to all move down here and get together and start something really cool, and like asked me to come. So I was like, heck yeah. But then I met y'all.
Who's your favorite? Never mind.
I was just about to ask that.
Definitely Roy. No, I'm kidding.
That's it. Roy's done.
Roy, you're done.
I agree though.
Roy's so funny.
Roy's awesome.
He's like just keeps unboxing.
He's a walking ball of wisdom too.
Oh yeah, talking to him, he's so funny, but not what I expected.
I know.
At
'cause he's
first, he
very,
didn't really like talk a lot, and so I was like, "Hey," but the more you talk to him, he's so funny.
he's so funny, and he has knowledge on a lot of different topics.
It cracked me up. Like, he didn't talk around Jenna at all one day, and then just randomly asked me, "Do you think Jenna knows how to polka?" And then asked you to polka or whatever one day.
He knows all the dancing,
I know.
but we listen to the same music, so we kind of like bonded over that.
Yeah,
On the
and
way back from bull riding.
it's funny though because he'll say, "Do you think Jenna knows how to polka?" And speaking of dancing, he can dance,
He
but
can dance.
he can't TikTok dance.
No,
No.
It's kind
No.
of backwards.
but he did polka with me, whatever it's called. It was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I was out of breath.
Yeah, he flings you
He
around.
Hey,
throws his
basically-
feet.
I mean, you're basically like floating, and he just all
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
You look like a little rag doll out there.
Yeah, basically. That's what it felt like. Polka's basically like a 3-step,
Yeah,
something like that. Just really
it's
fast.
a 3-step. It's like really fast.
Really, really fast.
Yeah. So speaking of TikTok dances, how has your life changed from being a now TikToker?
It hasn't really, like my daily life hasn't changed really a whole lot. The only thing that's changed is I've gotten a whole lot of opportunities from it, basically like job offers, if you will. So like that part's been really cool. But other than like daily life, nothing's really changed a whole lot for me. I don't really want it to. I want to keep it, you know. I don't want my life to like revolve around TikTok, but it definitely is really cool and like has opened up a whole lot of opportunities for me. But yeah, other than that, like, I don't know. I try to keep it, you know, pretty level-headed with everything and whatnot. But I have gotten to meet like a whole lot of really cool people from it. So I come and see y'all, you know, more often and stuff like that. But it's been pretty cool. Y'all moving here has been really funny because everybody talks differently and says stuff differently. So everybody like just giving everybody a hard time on how people say words like really cracks me up.
Oh.
Caden all around just says everything differently.
Yeah,
Everything's
like,
wrong.
Nick goes, or Caden will be like, kite,
Kite.
kite.
You fly a kite.
They like kite. The kite.
Kite.
And if you keep
Nick
it up,
couldn't
we're going to
pronounce
be fighting.
Bailey for a while.
Yeah,
So-
she'll go
Okay.
belly.
Belly.
See?
Belly.
In my mind's eye, it's Bailey.
Huh?
Your mind didn't got an eye.
In my mind's eye.
In my mind. Like,
In your mind's
it's not
eye.
a saying in
I've
my mind's
never heard
like,
that
in my
before.
mind's eye. That's a saying.
No,
You
you
say
say,
that?
in my head, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
That's
Bailey.
like
Like in my
that's
head.
like saying in my eye's brain.
No.
Okay. It's,
Yeah.
come to-
It's still Bailey.
Belly.
Is that
That's
what
how-
I'm saying?
That's how you said it for a while.
Billy?
You basically saying Billy, but like with a twang. It was like
Belly
Billy.
Ray Cyrus.
I
Yeah,
don't
you
think
said
so.
Billy with
Billy.
an A in it.
Yeah.
Bug.
Like Bailey.
Bailey. Like really interesting. I don't. Whatever.
Well,
So with you being at like the house with us all the time and stuff, like you say that you don't want your life to revolve around TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
But whenever you come to the Tratter House and see what we're doing, because we revolve our lives around social media now.
Right.
We kind of gave that step. Like, what do you see whenever you walk in the house? When you walk into the Tratter House, like, what do you visualize with us?
Well,
guys?
I really respect like everything y'all are doing and the way y'all are going about things because a lot of people you meet, you know, from TikTok and stuff, and like what they put on social media isn't what they portray like in person. So meeting like all of you guys, of course, like I knew Nick, knew he was a great guy and everything, but meeting y'all, like, I mean, right. I had a lot of respect for y'all because y'all are very level-headed and like, you know, y'all don't have, y'all are just a bunch of guys like living life, but y'all definitely like are putting out like a good influence for other people, and especially, you know, like all your like the little kids that watch what of y'all made a video recently about, you know, I think it was you, right?
Yeah.
Yes, like all the little kids that you meet and stuff like that, and being around y'all and seeing just all the people that do come up and like say how much y'all have impacted y'all, like their lives and been a good influence. I definitely respect like everything y'all are doing and how y'all are handling all of this and trying to take social media in kind of the toxic world that it's in and change it for good, and also like shine light on the Western community, country community, whatever you want to put it, at the same time. So I think like what y'all are doing is amazing and keep it up. But
thank you.
of course.
It reminded me of a song.
What song did it remind you of?
I forget the name of it, but it goes, "You take what the enemy meant for evil."
Yeah.
Yes,
You turn
turn
it
it
for
in.
good.
Yes. Basically.
Well, Jenna, thank you for the sweet and kind words.
Of course.
But as we know, you're very involved in the Western rodeo industry. So what would your definition of a cowboy be?
That's kind of a loaded question. I feel like it's with like social media and everything, a lot like there's, I feel like so many different definitions and like spin-offs. But raised in like the community I have been raised in, you see like, you know, Cowboy. I have a lot of basically like second dads, you know, and everybody all gets together and we do brandings and, you know, gatherings and stuff like that. And seeing like all of the guys all together, all of the dads and everything, like the way they work, it's, you know, their life revolves around it. That's what they do for a living, taking care of the livestock and whatnot. But they all have like a mannerism about them. Is that the right word?
Mm-hmm.
Mannerism?
Yeah.
They, just the way they like hold themselves, they care about their families more than anything, and they put others before them, and they are all so very respectful. Some of the most kind-hearted people. They look, you know, rough around the edges, but if you talk to them or whatever, they would take a bullet for you. And so I've just kind of always looked up to them and the way they take care of not only their livestock, but their families and the way they treat others. And so I definitely have a lot of respect for them. The more like rodeo cowboys, I think they have, you know, a lot of grit, a lot of try. Obviously, like it takes a lot to do what they do. So I think that there's definitely, they all have something that not everybody has. It takes a lot to do what they do, but just the fact that they all, you know, have such a like kind heart, but you wouldn't see that or know that if you're just looking at them. They look, you know, pretty rough, always dirty, and like, you know what I mean? But no, I definitely have a whole lot of respect for them and think that kind of social media has taken on like, and there's all kinds of spinoffs and whatnot. But I think it's mainly about how you treat people.
Yeah.
And like, you know, your morals, your values, whether you know, day work all day, every day, or just enjoy like the rodeo lifestyle. The way you treat people does say a whole lot. And if you treat somebody crappy, you will not be accepted in this community, ultimately.
Yeah.
So would you say that there are different genres of cowboys.
Oh,
As
yeah.
in, if it's, I was trying to break it down the other day because there was a time where I was on TikTok and I was talking about how rednecks and country boys aren't the same thing. They are, but they're different genres. It's like country is right here, and then you have little branches off of country. You have your
and I think it's
hillbillies, rednecks.
It really
whatever.
bothers me when I see people kind of coming at other people saying like, "Oh, you're not country," or "You don't fit in here," kind of thing. I hate that because if you look at any other like community, say like, you know, you're on like the beach side of TikTok or whatever, people aren't coming at those people saying, "Oh, you don't actually live on a beach," or like you're a fake beach girl. Like that's not a thing. You know what I mean? So for people to come on and say like you're like fake country, you can't be involved or whatever. There's definitely different genres, if you will. I mean, there's, you know, obviously like rodeo people, just the ranchers, day workers or whatever. You grew up around the lifestyle, you know, that's how you grew up. You can't help that. And you're not going to become somebody you're not just because you don't rodeo, if you will. But I definitely think there are spinoffs and different, you know, genres to it. But
like, as you mentioned, there's definitely like different facets of being a cowboy.
Oh, yeah.
And being country. Like, I look at it as like, no matter what type of, you know, sport you do or like lifestyle you live, it is centered around morals and values and who you are as a person. But there's people out there that just genuinely enjoy country things without being country. You know what I mean? There's people out there who just like jam some Jason Aldean. You know,
you can enjoy country music and drive a truck, like hunting and fishing without rodeoing, and that doesn't make you not country. You just don't rodeo.
Yeah, and it's like,
and like that's 90% of the people that like live in my town. You know, and so nobody really hates on them. But if you're in the public eye and doing that stuff, then people are like, "That's wrong.
Yeah,
you can't do that."
And I think it's very enjoyable to watch. Like locals and other people supporting artists and small businesses within the country industry because it's like, even if you're just streaming a song, even if you're just buying a t-shirt or buying a hat, it's supporting people within the country industry just because you like something country. Like you could be a secretary in an office and like I said, be wearing, you know, a Jason Aldean shirt or something like that. And that's supporting the lifestyle because that money goes back, to wherever he puts his funds and can be donated wherever else. So it's like, I just like the fact that even when you go to the stockyards, there's people that just go into the Wrangler store, the Ariat store, just to buy something because they've been in the stockyards. And that benefits the companies within the industry, which benefits the athletes, which benefits, it's just a big snowball effect. You know what I mean? That's what I like to see. I just like to see people supporting.
So if the rodeo community or, you know, the people who hate on people who dress country or whatever without actually rodeoing, who's going to go watch the rodeos is the way I look at it. Because the stands are filled with people who enjoy watching it, who enjoy the lifestyle, who maybe like the stockyards we see, you know, every week, people who have never been to a rodeo before kind of deal. They show up, they come watch. And if those people don't show up, nobody's there to watch. The stands aren't filled and you don't have a crowd at that point. And then, like you said, who's going to pay to keep that place running? So not everybody has to technically rodeo to go. I appreciate each and every person in the stands when I compete, and like it hypes you up the more people there are. So if there's nobody in the stands, like it's kind of like, man, like this is tough. You know what I mean? So the stands have to be filled somehow, some way, and those aren't gonna be just like, you know, people who hate the Western community or hate like the country lifestyle. They obviously enjoy it somehow, some way. So that's how I've always looked at it. The stands have to be filled. So.
And I think like there's so many like, especially in this community, like the country Western outdoors community kind of all is based around the same thing. And these people can hold some freaking power. But I think what hurts this community so much is everyone wants to see who's the most cowboy or who's the most dirtiest or who can work the most or who does this or who does that, who has the biggest ranch. And that makes people want to disperse from the community, and that's not good for the industry. Like you were saying, if we bring people to watch rodeo and they realize, like, holy crap, this is fun. Like, that dude just rode a bull for 8 freaking seconds and almost got stepped on. That makes people want to come watch this stuff, and that's going to bring in bigger crowds. It's going to make the athletes probably ride better, want to ride better. It's going to give them more adrenaline, bigger checks, bigger payouts. It's all in all help. And I think we just need to, like, if we can figure something out to where, which I think we're trying to do anyways, bring the community together and realize, like, you don't have to be the most cowboy to be a cowboy. Like, I mean, you guys aren't rodeoing anymore, and I look at you guys as cowboys.
I've never rodeoed a day in my life, dude. It's just
ranch work.
Work. Yeah, we got out of cattle and all that stuff whenever I was a young kid, but it's just more equine based now.
Yeah,
and I don't rodeo anymore simply because, like, I don't have the time for it. But you know, we're running a business that is ultimate goal is to support the community that supports everything else, whether it's music, rodeo, whatever facet of the industry it is.
Yeah.
So, and we touched on it earlier in, like, the last podcast, is like social media kind of gets overlooked as, like, not being important when it comes to this industry, when it's literally the number one. Like, social media runs everything nowadays, as far as ticket sales go and, like, exposure and running ads. Like, anybody wants to look up anything, they go to social media nowadays. You know what I mean? So it's like, why is what we do and the tactics that we use to market this lifestyle not as important as somebody, like, trying to go into a local grocery store and, like, trying to sell tickets, if that makes sense?
Yeah. Well, y'all were at the American, like, this past weekend. I mean, how many people were in those stands?
Oh, it was filled.
Not every single one of them rodeoed.
Yeah.
They just enjoy the Western lifestyle.
I met a girl in the elevator, and she was watching Casey Field ride that bronc, and she was like, I don't understand the point system. So I explained it to her, and her and her husband were just chilling there, you know, and they were going down to the dirt. Like, they went all the way down to support the rodeo, and those are some, like, not cheap spots.
Oh, yeah.
She was with some company, I have no idea, but didn't know what rodeo was, really.
And, like, those people don't get hated on. We appreciate and support each and every person in the stands watching and supporting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, you don't have a rodeo if that's not the case.
Yeah, and it reminds me of what you said earlier. It's like, there was a point in my life, because, like, I didn't grow up in rodeo. Like, I got into it. I had to ask somebody, how do the points work? You know what I mean?
I mean, I would go to, like, you know, your hometown, like, rodeos and stuff. Like, I wouldn't go to, like, the big ones. But, like, ever since, like, I mean, I don't know, within the past, like, 5 months, I've been to, like, probably over 100 rodeos. Like, a lot. And I've learned a lot, like, understanding the point system a lot more and stuff like that. But
I mean, people DM me all the time just asking questions that are very, like, base level questions that, you know, some people would be like, you're dumb. Like, how do you not know that? But I just, like, I always answer the questions. You know, if people want to know about it, I'm going to help them and, like, you know, explain things and tell them how it is kind of deal. But I'm not going to sit there and be like, you should know that, or, like, that's a stupid question just because, like, that's how I was raised and that's, like, something that I know, you know what I mean? Like jackpots, explaining the different, you know, 1D, 2D, all that stuff. That is probably the most complex thing to explain, but I'll explain it 100 times over if people keep asking me. So, I mean, I'm not going to sit there and be like, you should just know that. But if people want to learn, like, help them out. You know what I mean?
It's like, yesterday I made a video about cyberbullying because that's really been on my mind lately with us guys. Like, you know, I learned about it in grade school, you know, and you're taught, like, you know, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say it at all, whatever. And now in the 21st century, we're dealing with a lot of cyberbullying. Like, that's like 75% of suicides are from cyberbullying. That's nuts. You think about that percentage. And I said yesterday, like, people have no business, like, talking about how country you are because, one, like, you don't know me or my background. 2, you have no idea what my mission is. And then 3, like I said yesterday, you have no idea what my God is capable of. You don't know what he's going to throw in your life the next day for someone to literally call you out and tell you that you're worth nothing.
Yeah.
And whenever, that's just such a good topic. I love talking about because
I mean, that's definitely, like, a topic that I've been talking to people about recently. It just, like, been on my mind a bunch too, because that is unfortunately something that we have all had to deal with,
Yeah.
and we will obviously have to continue to deal with. And there's no putting a stop to it. It's just how you deal with it.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, that's that's actually a great segue. Yeah, I use that.
Quit.
Paul said I used it correctly. But anyway, that's a great segue into kind of our last question is, Jenna Sparks, how do you stay positive through all the social media noise and hate?
Okay, obviously not easy. If it was easy, everybody would do it kind of thing. It's been rough. Like this whole, I've been on TikTok probably, 2 coming on 3 years, something like that. And when I started getting hate comments, like in the very beginning, I was like, oh my gosh, like what is this? Because I've always been just like a very friends with everybody. I try not to, make anybody mad, get on anybody's bad side. And so all these random people started like commenting, saying stuff about me, and it just like crushed me. I was like, oh my gosh, what am I doing wrong kind of thing. And then had to like figure out and realize like that's just part of the game. It just happens and people are going to think that. And it goes through like phases basically. I have like kind of a loyal following. Like I have my people and they comment on all my videos and stuff and like going pretty well. But anytime a video does like do a little better than another, that's when people from like the outside start commenting. And then there's always hate comments, whether it's, a video of me. If I make a video with my horses and stuff, people are like, oh, you're not country. You're not actually working. You just made this video and then you went inside and your dad did the rest of the work kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's either like that, or if I make something that's not related to like, rodeo horses or something, then they're like, oh, she's not even country anymore. Like, what is she doing with her life? Like, It's just, it's like a lose-lose situation. You can't win the battle kind of deal. So I've pretty much just started posting like whatever the heck I want to. And when I get hate comments, a lot of times I will delete them. I don't want to see it. And I like, don't even care. I'll delete them. A lot of times if they're bad, I'll block the person. If they did it once, I'll do it again. Mm-hmm. But it got to the point where it was like, I would literally cry all the time when I would get hate comments and stuff because it would just sit with me. And I was like, people actually think that about me. And when there was, random stuff where people would say stuff that's not even remotely true about me, or if they had like one single conversation with me, probably wouldn't even say that. But people just make assumptions over watching a 15-second video. And that's what really blew my mind. And it kind of went through a phase where I didn't post for a while and just kind of like stepped back and did like an evaluation. Like, what am I going to, like, how do I fix this? But ultimately there is no way to fix it. And at church, not like a few weeks ago, they actually talked about how like gossip, people talking bad about you and stuff like that. It all comes like from that person hurting. You might not be doing anything wrong, but people are going to find something to talk about and find something to hate on you for. Just like life lessons that I have been through the past few months, praying for people who did you wrong or praying for people who send you hate is one of the most powerful things you can do. You cannot talk about somebody or have hatred towards somebody who you are consistently praying for. So it sounds really funny, but the people who I know people say stuff about me. It all gets back to me. And hate comments and stuff like that. People talking about me. I hear about it. I don't say a single word. I don't react. I simply just pray for them. Because you cannot hate on somebody who you're praying for. And it's been like an amazing change of heart. I really like postured my heart in like a different way when it comes to that, instead of reacting in a negative way and just like giving that right back. That's not proving anything. It's not helping the situation in any way. And so just like reposturing your heart, and like obviously it comes from somewhere. The hate doesn't just, a person doing perfectly fine, living their best life is not going to go hate on somebody and, say stuff behind their back or leave hate comments. And so obviously that person is hurting somewhere. There's hate somewhere deep down, whether it's jealousy or they just have something else going on. Like, you don't know their situation. And yeah, they don't know yours either. But reacting in a negative way isn't going to help anything. So praying about all of it has helped a lot. And just trying to, have a positive mindset on everything and just keep doing what you're doing. Because ultimately that one person isn't going to outweigh all the other ones that do love you and support you. Yeah. So
That was probably the most powerful and detailed answer I've ever heard on the podcast.
Yeah, it's very long. I was like, she keeps going. It's just,
I mean, that's been heavy on my heart for a while. It's not something easy to deal with.
Mhm.
And I don't think that anybody understands how much that stuff affects people.
Yeah.
Because, like, you look at y'all and you watch your videos and anybody on social media, it looks like they're just living their best life.
and then 80% of the time, we're up in our
laying in
freaking
bed.
beds, curled up underneath our covers because we don't want to talk to anybody.
Exactly. Well, like,
That's y'all.
I mean, you hear,
Yeah.
Nick's like a little ball
I
of
let it
sunshine
get-
running
we
around.
let it get
I'm
toasted.
buzzing.
But yeah. But no, like, I mean, that's stuff you see one hate comment out of the hundreds you get, and it just kind of like sucks. It's like, man. I mean, for a while, I would like sometimes reply to them in like a really positive way. It's kind of one of those things where somebody
Kill 'em
says,
with kindness.
yeah, kill them with kindness. Somebody says something mean to you, and you're like, I really hope you have a blessed day.
Yeah.
That's what I did for our Montana Silversmith video.
Yes,
Because there was a little bit of
there was some
negativity on that.
right.
And somebody said something about, it was along the lines of like not being cowboy or
Yeah.
country or whatever. I said, thanks for supporting Montana. It was
Yeah,
just so
exactly.
nice. Like, you watched the video. Thanks for
You watched
supporting
the video,
Montana.
like that was a view.
Yeah.
That helped us out.
Yeah, exactly.
You leaving a comment helped even more.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for that.
Thank you. Yeah.
But no,
there's-
like for a while I would reply and like just kind of spit that back at him,
Mhm.
like, you know what? I hope you have an amazing day. Have a
Yeah.
blessed day, kind of deal. But then I stopped replying because sometimes that would start a fight, and I was like, yeah, never mind. This isn't working.
Sometimes I can kind of really let it get to me, and sometimes I'll comment something back and I'll say, yeah, I probably shouldn't say that. So I'll just delete their comment. But I mean,
no,
there
you
is.
do your little trick.
I do
sometimes.
have a little side twist, but that's when which I need to stop doing that because
No, those are funny.
it's
though.
funny, but at the same time, like now, like thinking about that, sitting here, I'm like, that doesn't really make anything better. Like if somebody like says some kind of hate comment, and I'll just like, because it's kind of like what we do as a joke to each other.
Yeah.
But thinking about that, they probably don't understand that, and they're probably thinking like, "Oh wow, like I didn't get anything from this." But there's 3 words that hold a ton of freaking power, and it's so simple to just tell somebody like. And I learned this in Africa on my mission trip. We were out in the middle of the streets evangelizing, and there was this kid. He was like 8 years old, higher than a kite, and like the guys were telling us like these kids out here on the street. They just get high because they don't want to live anymore. They just are ready to get ran over by a vehicle and die. There's like 4 or 5 kids that die each week out here on the street. And this one kid, his name was Gift. As soon as we got out, he came running up to me, and I'm having the translator like talk to him and stuff. And before we left, like I got to tell him about Jesus and everything. He was ready to like go find this home that was centered around God. And I looked at him and I was like, Gift, I love you. And this kid broke down, literally wouldn't leave my shoulder. He just broke down bawling. And he told the guy, like our translator, he's like, that's the first time somebody's ever told me I love you. And that, dude, there's so much power in those 3 words. I was like, I couldn't believe it. And that whole story, I couldn't go on because it would be like a half hour. But that whole story I'll tell you after this is, dude, it's incredible. I think I told you about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking either I love you or you are loved or the.
You
Yeah.
are loved is
There's so much
It's
power in
true.
that word.
there's somebody out there, and when you feel alone, I mean, that was another topic at church, like feeling alone.
Yeah.
It's a lot of times like you're in the spotlight and people think, you have like all these people around you and stuff, but sometimes you just feel alone. You just feel like, there isn't anybody, but like going and just finding somebody who even seems like remotely down and just saying like, hey, I'm thinking about you. I'm praying for you. Or like you're loved can literally like change everything.
Yeah.
So-
Like one of those hate comments could be somebody that's hasn't been told they were loved in forever. Maybe we comment back. If we comment back and be like, hey, love you, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They might be like, dang, that felt good. So maybe I might have to change up the way I comment back to people sometimes.
Just literally go on Caden's new video, and it's all just going to be, I love you, I love you, I love you.
I love you, I love you, I love you,
That's
I
all
love
I'm
you.
going to say back.
Love you.
That's all I'm going to say back now.
Bring it up to a little higher note, a little more positive note now, because
Switch it up a little bit.
yeah, switch it up a
This
little
ain't
bit.
nothing but positivity, bro.
It is positivity.
Look at us go.
Because you got 12-year-olds that are like, I gotta say this. You have 12-year-olds that are like trying to stand up for us in the comment section.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, F you, you don't know the Tratter House boys like me, blah, blah, blah. So if we put that example out there, then that's also going to help bring more love and affection to the industry as well.
So to bring it up and a little lift the spirits a little bit, like raise the roof.
Raise the roof.
Praise Jesus. Anyway, we're just gonna do a fun little. It's not necessarily a game this week, but everybody's gonna go through and you're gonna list your top 3 like hype songs, pretty much, or like your basketball, like, you know, come out the locker room song, or your walk up song for baseball, or when you're coming through the alleyway, what song gets you hype? You know, you're gonna list your top 3. Okay, so Blake, you're gonna go first. So your number 1 pick.
My number 1 is gonna have to be Thunderstruck.
Oh my goodness!
I'm sorry, bro. Shouldn't have
Golly.
me go first.
That's typical.
Here we go.
So your number 1 is Thunderstruck.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have to go with my number. So I can't say my number 1 was gonna be Thunderstruck. So, but my number 2, that is now my number 1, is the clean version of Click.
Huh?
Ain't nobody messing with my Click.
Oh.
That one. Yeah, it's pretty hip-hoppy, but it's nice.
That is a pretty dope song.
I know.
Dude, am I up?
Yeah, you're up.
All day long. Eye of the Tiger.
Oh my God.
Dude, that beat
Oldie
starts
but
coming out.
goodie.
I just want to run through a wall.
Wow. On our way to like rodeos, barrel races and stuff, my dad usually hauls us. Such a G. And there's one song. Really, really? Y'all know that song?
Oh yeah.
Is it Kevin Gates?
some yeah.
No. Who is
Some it's by Kevin Gates. That
Kevin
goes,
Gates,
really, really. Yeah, I know that one.
it? Mm-hmm.
How's it go? Sing
Whatever.
it.
You know?
Hold on.
Hang
we
on.
them boys. Not
No.
that one.
No,
I don't know.
wrong.
How
Not
does
that one.
Why is that?
That's
Is that
my
say,
word.
say really, really?
I say really, really.
Yeah,
That's how
that
it goes.
song.
Oh, yeah.
My dad, like, loves that song. Like, he loves that song, okay? And so he loves, like, that song and, like, Too Much Sauce. Like,
No,
those
he
old...
don't.
No, he does.
Oh,
like,
my
those old
goodness.
songs, like, not old, but, like, you know, a few years ago, they were really
Yeah.
popular. When that song comes on, like, all of us in the truck, every single one of us are, like, screaming that song. And it's just so fun because it's, like, the whole gang, like, my whole family, we're all in there and we're just
I love
like...
that.
Yeah, no, we're ready. Like, let's do this. Because, I mean, ultimately, like, if they're, like, not in a good mood, then I'm like, all right, guys.
Yeah.
But, like, my sister's usually back there with me in the alley, you know, and my parents always, like, come talk to me beforehand and stuff like that. So when, like, everybody's hyped, oh, it gets me so hyped. And so that's, like, our song. Like, we all jam to that song still to this day, and it's just it's so fun.
That's awesome.
You
Bima,
and your
what's your
sister have the best friendship I've ever seen.
Oh, my sister is my best friend.
Yeah.
JC?
JC.
Bima, what's your number 2 pick?
Dude, honestly, it's going to be by Phil Wickman.
Wickham.
Wickham. But it's probably like The Battle Belongs.
Oh, that is
That one's
such
such
a good song.
Yeah, I get to see music. I jam it in my truck all the time. It's like the first song normally I turn on or something, and it'll be just so
Yeah?
Yeah.
My number 2 song, which is my number 3 because I had to bump everything up because you took my number 1. But my number 2 song, I really don't know if y'all know this one, but it's like they played it at the American the other day, but it's 300 Violin Orchestra. All right, Caden, what's your number 2 pick?
Dude. You know, whenever I was a kid, my dad had this freaking awesome F-150 blue truck, 5-speed, and every time we get in, I mean, we didn't have an aux cord or anything. We had them little freaking CD discs or them little
Tapes.
Metallica.
Oh, gosh.
Enter Sandman. I
Man.
knew it.
Yo.
Dude. Oh, I was 5 years old back there jamming that song.
Yeah.
That's funny.
He said Metallica. I knew exactly what song
Yeah.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right,
my
Jenna.
dad had me out there like with a little camo hat, like bent up, a little beef jerky chewing. And I'm like, all day long.
All right, Jenna, what's your number 2?
Probably, y'all know Fix My Eyes for King and Country?
Yeah.
That song?
That's a good one.
That song hits.
I like that.
I like that one.
Blake, number 3. What's your number 3?
Great band.
He's really got to think about
three.
that.
I know. Like, I don't know.
I have a number 3.
I was looking through my playlist.
Is this? Is
it that serious?
I'm trying to think,
Hang
man.
on.
I love music. I love it. So like man,
Man.
top 3. That's like
think
That's
hype.
rough.
Get me hype.
hype. Man, I don't know. Something by 3 Days Grace, man. Yeah, because it goes in between like Christian bop hype and just rock hype. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's something about 3 Days Grace, man. I don't know.
My number 3 is a Kanye West song because he has some really hype songs. But I don't know if you know Blood on the Leaves.
Nope.
I'm more of a rock hype guy.
The new Kanye West though hits different.
I don't know. I haven't listened to it. Okay, Blake, I'll give you number 3. What's your number 3? Come on.
My number 3 is gonna have to be "Breaking Free" by High School Musical, bro.
Oh my gosh! Stop it right now.
I'm not kidding. It's
That is
honestly
the best
top
song
3.
ever.
We're soaring.
No.
Flying.
There's not a
star in heaven that we can't reach.
Y'all kind of hit that.
Put us on a mixtape.
We know.
Low key. Oh.
I
We,
I'll do that
we
dance.
karaoke that one time in Nashville. The whole place went.
Yeah.
It erupted.
I can honestly say it happened.
I'll sing the girl part. If we try it. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I need auto-tune for that.
I cannot stand that song.
Yeah, it really bothers me that you
Kick
don't like
him
High
off
School
this
Musical
now.
because I played High School Musical. No, let's talk about this. We were watching High School Musical one day in the house, and Nick walks in and was like, "What are y'all watching?"
Yeah, but I kind of agreed
Who
with Nick
doesn't
on
He
like
that.
High
acted
School
like
Musical?
he acted like he was like 20 years older than us
Yeah.
or something like that.
I did
Wrong.
kind of agree
Like-
with Nick on that one though.
It's
'Cause
no.
So cheesy, dude.
It's
The first one is the best.
Amen.
it hit better back in the
But-
day, but now that we watched that and I never seen that one, I was like,
The third one did suck.
yeah.
yeah.
I give you that. But
first
High School
one-
But
Musical in
all
general.
of the songs, like the
Yeah.
soundtrack to all of them, you can't say that's bad.
She's
I don't know. I was
so
pretty freaked out
defensive.
when Vanessa
I
came
am
out.
too.
I actually got so defensive when Nick said that in the house, and I didn't even realize it. I was like, "That's like honestly kind of rude. Like, why would you say that?"
It was so
No,
bad.
because the second he
And-
walked in, I showed him a High School Musical TikTok dance that's trending right now.
But his haircut in the video.
Hey, back in the day,
No.
hot stuff.
His haircut just makes me so
Dude,
mad.
girls
I used to
back
have
in the
that,
day
bro.
did.
Yeah,
I used to idolize
Exactly.
Zac Efron.
That's
It was like
'cause
Zac
you're
Efron
a city boy.
had his hair, and then Justin Bieber had his hair, and they were kind of the same. It was like a whole era. Just saying.
Anyway,
I was
Caden,
always jealous of their hair though.
Caden,
This
what's
is
your
so
number
flowy.
3? Caden, what's your number 3?
Oh yeah, after that.
You put a baseball in my hand and send me out to the mound and you play You Can't Touch This by MC Hammer, not a chance you're touching me. It's game over. You're going to get a curveball
Out of-
high and inside, you're going to whiff.
What did you call the song? You Can't Touch This?
Can't touch this.
Out of all the things you were gonna say, that's probably like one of the last things I was expecting.
You can't touch this. Damn it. Yeah, I just like
Dun it.
first
Dun it.
pitch,
Can't
boom,
touch this.
high
I feel like
fastball
we have-
inside, swing and a whiff. Second pitch, curveball, down low to the left. You're going to chase it because you're expecting another high cheese. Third pitch,
Cheese?
oh, no one throws a knuckleball no more, but here it comes. Woo-hoo. You're spinning around. Get back to the dugout, son.
I feel like we have
3
different
and out,
versions
baby.
of hype.
Yeah. You have
No,
a
that
different
song just like
version.
makes me feel confident. Like,
There's like different versions of hype. Teach your own, you know.
All right, so now that we got our favorite songs out of the way, we're going to roll into our next section called Air Raid Affirmations, where we take questions on our Instagram stories and help you all out, give our advice. And just to let y'all know, we are not doctors, not psychiatrists. Always got to say this. It's just from our life experience. So, BMO, what is our question?
Question is, do you ever feel like you have no friends or nobody to talk to? And honestly, I feel like in the Tratter House, sometimes I don't have anyone to talk to. There's times where I'm just like, I need to be alone. Don't talk to me. Like, I don't know. But then there are times where I need to talk to somebody. And I feel like it's just not there because everyone's doing their own thing in the house. And like, you know, obviously whenever you're upset, depressed, you don't want to be like that person, like, hey, I need to talk to you. And so normally I'll call my mama. Honestly, that's like my best friend right there. But
shout out Mama Steph.
yeah, honestly, shout out mama stuff. She keeps me sane. But yeah, don't talk to me if I'm mad. Let me cool down for a minute, and then you can come ask me questions. But yeah, I do feel that way sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that way a lot of the times because my brain works so differently than a lot of other people. So I feel like they won't like comprehend what I say, but I need to, like, putting my third person into perspective, I need to, like, separate my brain from my heart at some point. And, like, my heart says, no, like, you need to talk about it. You need to get your emotions out there. And my brain is, like, trying to overcomplicate things. So I think that's my biggest struggle still, even, like, business-wise and Tratter House-wise, is, like, separating heart from brain and knowing which one's right. But ultimately, it's, like, let your heart lead your mind. But as far as, like, not having anybody to talk to, definitely talk. You need to get your emotions out. So anybody who feels like they don't have somebody to talk to, you know, talk to your parents, open up, you know, get your emotions out there, go to your local church, find somebody to talk to.
We just talked about this at church, so I know that your brain's...
Jenny Allen.
Yeah, go for it.
I was there at that when Jenny was talking about that.
Yeah, you were there too. Jenny Allen came and spoke about feeling alone.
She's awesome. Yeah, there's definitely times where I feel alone because, I mean, it's definitely feelings thing where, like, I feel something like any kind of... I hate disappointing people. That's my biggest thing that I struggle with is, like, in my head, if I feel like I disappointed somebody, I feel like I just shut down and want to be by myself, when in reality, I know I have a vertical relationship that is really all that matters, but my human self just shuts down and wants to lay in bed and, like you said, not talk to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of, like, the first 2 weeks here, that's kind of how I felt. That's why I didn't, like, really leave my room other than going to church. And whenever I get like that, I, like, it took me a little bit of time to get out of that junk, but I really don't know where I was going with all that. But I know that, like, for me, I have a feeling, like, a struggle with, like, feeling like I fail people, and I hate that. So that's, like, whenever I feel alone.
How would you help somebody that feels the same way?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, people that, like, struggle with that same thing that I do, it is more of like a realization that, like, just because, I don't even know how to put it into words, like, just because you feel alone doesn't necessarily mean you are alone. And the first thing that you really need to get in contact with is that vertical relationship. Like, there's a lot of power, like you said earlier, in prayer. Praying through that stuff is the quickest, fastest, easiest, and most powerful way to get through all of that. And it fills you up. So, yeah.
Yeah, and it don't matter how you pray either, because a lot of people get caught up in that, like, especially with new Christians. They're like, well, I don't know how to pray.
There's
Bro,
no
you literally don't.
It's a combo.
Like, you start thinking about it, then you start getting worried about, like, what your words are going to be. Dude, there's times where I was on my way to work, just talking, vibing.
It's a conversation.
Just convo, yeah, talking to myself. But
I've had some of the deepest and sometimes, like, angry conversations with God, like, feeling like whenever I felt so down on myself, like, I've had the most full out, like, open conversations with God than I have with people. Like, people think you have to, like, talk to God like he's, like, no,
Higher
God
up.
knows your heart and he knows what you're feeling inside. So you, like, let it out to him. It's going to make you feel good. He knows what you're thinking anyways and what you're feeling. Might as well get it off your chest.
what about you, Jenna?
I mean, yeah, I kind of mentioned it earlier, but there are definitely times where I feel, you know, like I'm surrounded by so many, but still alone. And I don't know, like, sometimes I just don't know if I have anybody to talk to about that stuff. Like, if anybody, you know, really cares enough to listen. Because I also don't want to sit there and just, like, constantly feel like I'm complaining or, like, ranting or something to anybody. So I don't want to be, like, you know, a burden in that way. So a lot of times I just don't even say anything. Kind of like, you know, if I'm feeling upset or alone, just put on a fake smile, like, and just roll with it kind of deal. And there was, like, a week straight where I just felt, like, alone. Absolutely. That's the best way to describe it. Just really upset and, like, down, and didn't really know why. And I was in the car with my sister and, like, mentioned it to her. And she said, like, I've been feeling the exact same way. So the two of us have been in the house together for, like, you know, a week, been feeling the exact same way. Neither one of us said a word to each other. And we're, you know, both feeling down. And so I guess that was just kind of like a moment of, I was like, there's always people out there feeling the same way as you. And people are always going to be there for you. Because if she would have said something to me, I right away would have been there for her. And I know she would have done the same for me. And then a week later, we talked about it at church. That was what the message was about. So I was like, okay, God, like, I hear you. But, you know, it's just, Everybody feels it, and you're not alone. You're never alone. There's always somebody to talk to about that stuff, whether it's just, you talk to God about it, or close friends, your sister, somebody who's literally in your house with you. There's always somebody to listen. And so I don't know, I guess it is just definitely like a feeling thing. There's something weighing you down kind of deal. But I mean, that helped me going to church. We literally talked about it right then and there. So that kind of helped me, and okay, everything's fine. We're all good. But, everybody feels that way. And so I feel like a lot of people are scared to talk because they feel like nobody else is feeling that way also. But I mean, everybody gets to that point.
Yeah.
So basically, what's one piece of advice you would give somebody if they're feeling lonely?
Find somebody who you trust and can talk to. Everybody has a somebody, I believe. I don't think anybody's ever actually alone. So just find one person, a parent, a friend, anybody who you can talk to. Yeah,
I think that's really important too. That's the number one thing I've been hearing here at the Tratter House too, is every creator that comes through is man, I think I finally found a support group.
Yeah.
People that understand what it feels like to be a TikToker and somewhat in the spotlight a little bit. And that's been huge. It's been huge for these people's confidence.
Yeah.
So I love that.
Well, there was one other thing I wanted to say, and it's one of my favorite moments in Scripture, and it's when, I think we've talked about it before, when Moses is being, God's telling Moses, hey, I'm going to put you in place, I'm going to put you in charge to lead my people to the promised land. And Moses is feeling discouragement at this point in time, and he says, who am I to do this? And he feels really alone in this moment, and God says, straight, simple, to the point, he says, I'll be with you. And that's one of the things that I always try to remember in my head, that whenever I feel alone, whenever I feel discouraged, and whenever I feel like I have nobody, it doesn't matter where I'm at. I know that God's going to be there, and he's going to help me get through whatever I have to get through.
That's awesome. I think that's a great way to end the podcast here. Thank you all of you guys for coming out today and hanging out with us. Jenna, where can the people follow you?
TikTok, Instagram, Jenna Sparks with 3 S's on all socials. It's the same. So,
do you have any exciting news coming out that you want to tell anybody?
Oh, I don't know.
Merchandise?
Yeah, you're doing the merch, right?
We're working on merch right now, just trying to figure out all the fine details for that, but hopefully we'll have that soon. So
that's awesome. We want to thank you all for watching. If you guys would be so kind, y'all have killed it with the reviews. I think we're pushing over 100 5-star reviews on Spotify and Apple Podcasts so far. So if you guys want to take the time out of your day to rate and review this podcast, that would be awesome. Go follow Jenna. Go follow Caden. Caden, where can they follow you again?
Caden McGuire.
On everything?
Yep, just right there. Boom.
Y'all make sure to follow Tratter House and Tratter Company, as long as Nick and Blake on all of our socials. They'll be listed up above and in the description. Leave a nice comment. Tell Jenna happy birthday because it was recently her birthday. Again, rate and review this podcast. If you got time, we would love it. Leave a nice comment. Again, thank you, Ariat, for helping us put this on. And for y'all listening, we can't do this without y'all. And we're going to wrap it up there. So thank y'all for listening. And don't forget, smile every day.
And know your worth. See y'all.